The functionalist perspective would consider different aspects of aging according to how they help maintain a functional working society. Functionalists would consider the need for some workers to leave their jobs to make way for younger workers, so they can have income and a meaningful and contributory role in society. Disengagement theory helps us understand that process, the idea that older workers need to disengage from the workforce. Activity theory considers whether people who age are happier disengaging from the workforce or not, i.e., what kinds of activities they enjoy. Formal activities such as work or informal ones, such as get-togethers with friends. Do they enjoy solitary activities like home repair or gardening at the house, or do they prefer to get out and spend time with a group of people? How much time do they like to spend with their adult children? It varies. Some people want a few times a year, others a few times a month. There is no one-size-fits-all. Continuity theory considers how the elderly maintain their ties with the past. Do they take on new roles after retirement from work that are similar to the old ones? Research shows that people who have multiple roles after retirement and who continue on in some of those roles are the happiest. Conflict theory would be aware of the limited resources and might focus more on the amount of resources the elderly consume. There are grave concerns about the cost of Social Security and Medicare, and that these costs will increase even more as healthcare and lifestyle choices increase longevity. Together, Medicare and Social Security consumes about 97% of the total income tax that's collected in this nation. Of all the revenue collected in this country, it consumes $1 of every two. In other words, 50% of the total revenues. As the strain continues on the Social Security funds, this would increase conflict between the elderly and the younger generations. This chart shows that the cost of Social Security is now 1,000 times higher than it was in the 1950s. The elderly are also one of the strongest political groups today. They tend to vote more often than other groups. They have enough time and strong concerns about Social Security and Medicare, so are politically vocal. One of the strongest lobbying groups in Congress is the AARP, the American Association of Retired People. Medicare and Medicaid are the two funding sources for the elderly and the poor. As you can see, the cost of care for the elderly has always exceeded the cost of care for the poor, and both costs have dramatically increased in the past several decades. There has also been a major shift in the poverty rates for the elderly. In the 1970s, there were grave concerns about the elderly living in poverty, but since that time, things have steadily improved for the elderly, with poverty rates steadily declining. On the other hand, the poverty rates for children have increased, and now children are more likely to be in poverty than the elderly. The changes in aging have created a new period in life, and the old life stages and life course models have had to consider this changed dimension. The term creative aging embodies the idea that there's no one way that defines how old age is to be lived now. At the same time, a great bearing on how old age is experienced is defined by one's social class. Fewer opportunities to explore and enjoy these years occur for those with lower social class. And that concludes our chapter on both gender and aging. We've considered how gender is a social construct and how culture impacts our concept of gender. We considered global issues and how women are minority groups, and how gender inequality is built into the fabric of society. And we've also looked at some political issues regarding gender. We considered aging in this chapter too, and we looked at how different cultures have different views on what's appropriate at certain stages in life and how the elderly are treated.